So students, today also we are going to start with the chapter number 2, Fundamental Concepts and Terminologies. Now in this chapter, this is the video today I am preparing is the third part of your chapter. Now already I have uploaded the part 1 and part 2. You can see it on the YouTube. So first part, in that we have covered up the topics like price and the value, in that use value, exchange value, relationship between the use value and the exchange value, then goods and services and the various types of goods. Okay, so this is the topic which is already covered up in the part 1, and then in the part 2 regarding the wealth and the welfare, wealth characteristics, then types of wealth, and the topic in brief like welfare, and last the relationship between the wealth and the welfare. So these the topics have already been completed. So today the part 3 in which we are going to study is the factor of production. Now here students, the question arises regarding what is the factor of production. In simple, we can describe production as the activity of conversion of the raw materials and resources into the final goods, that is the finished product, and that product is going to satisfy the human wants is called the production. So students, whichever the raw material we can say, resources we can say, from which we are going to make the final or the finished product, and that product which is going to be satisfy the desire and wants of the human. So that goods is satisfying the human wants indirectly, so it can be termed as the production. You can write this definition also, or whether it is written in the first point, you can see the agent which help in a process of productions are called the factor of production. Those agents which are helping in the production activities or process, we can say they are termed as the factor of production. Now these agents are, in the second point you can able to clarify that land, labor, capital and entrepreneur. So these are the 4 factor of production which are quite needed as a work as an agent for the completion of the raw material to the finished product. So these are the factor of production we can say, and according to the Alfred Marshall described the 2 types of factor of production, that is the human being and the nature. But majorly there are 4 factor of production: land, labor, capital and entrepreneur. Now students, all these factors are equally important in the process or the activity of the production taking place. Now the distribution of the income, the total income we can say generated from the various activity is distributed to each factor of productions, and accordingly as per their productivity created or their contribution in generating the income. So these 4 factors is the main: land, labor, capital and entrepreneur. Now these factors we are going to see briefly one by one. Now the very first is the land. Now students, in ordinary sense we can describe land means the surface of the earth, but in the economic terminology it is not only the land we can say, but all the natural resources which are useful for the productions are called the land, because it's the natural assets. So it can be termed as it is not only the land but the natural resources which are useful for the production purposes. Now here also, according to the Marshall, or the natural resources which have been given to the man by the nature freely can be called as a land. Whether it is a land we can say, water it is there, mineral or air, fertility we can say. So all this is given, it is the given by the nature. So all are the natural resources which we are using. Now from the point of view of the minerals, we can say the river, lake, forest, etc. are also the natural gifts to the man. So these are the gifts of the nature we can say. But here the land is also equally important, the factor of production, the first factor we can say, because if we want to start up any of the business, the first requirement is of the land itself. Then where you are going to set up the business, it must be needed a place to set up. So the first requirement is the land itself. Now you can see on your screen, student, that there is a characteristics of the land. In that first one, land is a gift of nature and it's not man-made. Yes, it's already the gift of nature. It is not created by the man. So it is available to us, that we can also say it is a natural resources. So it is, we cannot predict that it is made by man. So it is not a man-made and not made by a man. It's a gift of nature. Then second one, we can see the total supply of land is fixed. As here the total supply of land is fixed, it can be said that as we want to start a particular business, and the amount, the particular land piece we require to start our business, that much only we are going to take and pay the prices for it. So it can be said as the total supply of land is the fixed. Now land is geographically immobile. It is said because we cannot transfer a piece of land that is in the Surat, and if we want to, we cannot transfer it to the any other cities, Ahmedabad, any other Mumbai like Delhi, we cannot able to, or any other place also. We cannot shift a land from one place to another. We cannot transfer a land from one place to another. So land is geographically immobile. We cannot transfer it. Okay. So it is related to this. Then we can come to the all types of land are different in fertility according to the climatic condition and so on. It is also true because the fertility of each and every land is quite different. The crops are also grown according to the fertility and according to the climatic conditions. Some crops are grown in the winter season, some are grown in the summer season. So accordingly, so fertility of each and every land is not the same, is different. So we got some are the which are can be utilized for the construction of the building purposes. So fertility of land is different and according to the climatic condition. The last and the most important point, that is the remuneration of land as a factor of production, is called the rent. Now here the remuneration means we get it by on using of the land. As I am having the land and I have given the land to any other person, and that person is using the particular land and is paying rent to me in return. So it can be termed as the remuneration of the land as a factor of production is called the land. We get the amount by using a particular piece of the land, then it can be termed as a rent. So these are the 5 important points you need to remember. So after the land, the second important factor of production which is required to convert the raw material and resources into the final and the finished product, that is the labor. Now labor is also very much important factor. It means we can able to write like physical or intellectual work by humans in order to earn returns, which is done under the supervision by some authority, is called the labor. Whichever the physical activity the labor humans are doing, or intellectual like the skill, capability, knowledge work we can say, so they are doing such activities to get the returns of it, and this all activities are supervised by some of the authorities, then is going to be termed as the labor. Now here labor we can say as the means any mental or the physical work done in order to get the remuneration partially or fully as per the someone's order. So they are doing the activity according to someone's order, but they are receiving the remuneration in return. Now here also we are going to study the characteristics of the labor. The characteristics of the labor in that the first one is the labor cannot be separated from the laborer, that the labor is doing his or her work, is expert in his particular field, so the both are interrelated, we can say. The particular the individual is doing his or her work very nicely and efficiently, and we cannot separate. He or she is going to do that work only, so labor is going to do his work only. So labor, we cannot able to separate the labor from his laborer, that is the from his work. Second, the labor cannot be stored, it's perishable. We cannot able to store a labor, as a labor is doing a work for today, then he or she is receiving the remuneration return for today itself. After 5 days or 6 days he is coming, then on that day only he will do the activity, he is doing the work, then he will receive the remuneration. So labor cannot be stored over here, it's perishable, we can say. It's not can be stored for a longer period of time, it's a human being, first thing. So the third one, the mobility of the labor is influenced by the social and the economic reasons. Here the mobility of the labor means the labor can be transferred to the another place. There are two reasons over here, that is the social reason or economic reason. Economic reason, in which if he or she gets more remuneration, more wages at another place, then he or she may not going to sit at a place where he or she is receiving the lesser amount. So they will go to a place where they are receiving the good wages, good amount of wages. So there is the economic reason and social reason also. So they are giving certain good facilities over there. The atmosphere is such, so that for that purpose also they are going to be transferred over at the another place. So the mobility of the labor is influenced by the social and economic reason, both we can say. Now the third one here in the labor is the efficiency of every labor is different. The efficiency differs over here. It's not such every labor efficiency is same all the time. Maybe some are such that they are doing very much faster, very effectively, like very smart work they are doing, but some are such they are doing very slow. So these are some or the other, it may differ out according to the efficiency. Then its supply of labor depend on the population, we can say. As you can take a particular area of any of the area, you can take like Arajan, then the population of the Arajan, we can say from there how much the labor is going to work, any of the work given to them, and how much from that population is going to take the activity related to it, and after doing such activity they will get in return the wages. But its supply of labor from that population is how much is the question over here. So from that particular area how much efficient laborers are there, and they are going to come for doing such activities. The last important point, the remuneration of labor is called the wages. So over here labor, whatever the activity he or she is doing, whatever the work they are doing, in return they are receiving the wages, we can say, or salary also we can say. So labor is also the important factor of production. Now third will come to the third factor of production, that is the capital one. Now here capital we can say is a man-made factor of production. So there we can say as there are two main traits of the capital. First thing, that is it is produced and created by the man, and it is used to produce the other things. Now if money is used for the consumption of article, it cannot be called capital, but it is used for the purchase of the machines or other things used in a production process, then we can say it as a capital. Now here we can say such as that all the time we are saying that money is a capital, but here we can say it as a raw material, as a capital, because it's a man-made factor of production, we can say. It is used to produce the finished products also. So the raw material over here is a capital we can take as a factor, main man-made important factor of productions. And now we'll get the clear idea as if we'll continue with the characteristics. First thing is the capital is a man-made factor of production, because if we are having the capital, we can take over here as a raw material. Raw material is the capital which is used for the final convert the raw material into the finished product. So here what we are having is the raw material is our capital and is the man-made that's why we can say it as a capital, as a man-made factor of production, and a very important one. Then it is the most mobile of all the factors, as we can easily transfer the raw material from one place to another. So we can say that capital is the most mobile of all the other factors as compared to the first two also. Then the increasing demand for the capital in the present time owing to the increasing capital intensive method of production has resulted in the increasing scarcity of this factor. So this point, as we students, we need to understand first that there are total two factor we can take for increasing for the intensive method for the production, we can say as that is the first one is the capital intensive technique, and the second important one is the labor intensive technique. As earlier, the labor intensive technique is used mostly for the production process, where the labor is working and converting the raw material into the finished product by their hands. So all the activity are undertaken by the labor itself. So firstly, the labor intensive technique is used, but nowadays the capital intensive technique is used mostly. In this capital intensive technique, all the production work activities is carried out by the machineries, we can say. So as the invent of such, the capital intensive technique is more, we can say, is utilized than the labor intensive technique. Now as we are using any of the thing very much, then it arises the scarcity of that particular thing. So here that increasing the scarcity of this factor also. So capital demand is more, so nowadays it becomes scarce also. This is our third point. Then the last important point, that is the remuneration of capital, is called the interest. On the capital we are getting is, we can term as a interest. As we are keeping our money in a bank, on that money we are getting our interest, we can say. So the remuneration of the capital is called the interest. So likewise, the remuneration in the land is rent. The remuneration of the labor, we can say it as a wages and the salary, and in the capital we can say it as a interest we are receiving. So these are the first three factors of production. Now there is a last factor of production that we are going to study, that is the entrepreneur. Now the last factor of production, students, is the entrepreneur. In this we can say it as an entrepreneur is a factor which brings together or coordinates all the other factor of production, that is the land, we can say, labor and capital. The entrepreneur work is to coordinate and manage all the factor or other factor of productions. So entrepreneur, we can say it as a center who coordinates the factor of production, land, capital and the labor, and the one who arranges the necessary factor of production to start the production, continue it, and robes their consequences according to the requirement, we can say as. So we can say, to starting of any of the business, first we require the land, that is the naturally available natural resources, we can say. So the first requirement to starting of any business is the land. If you want to start the business of the cloth, then we require firstly the land. Then second factor we require is the labor for carrying out the various activities, for creating it, converting it in the finished product. So the labor is also required. And then we require the capital, we can say it as a money also. to carry out our work very much easily, or machinery we can say as. So various machinery is also be required for making the cloth. So first land, second labor be required, then third capital is required. Now the fourth one is itself entrepreneur, who is going to manage the all activities and maintain cooperation and coordination between the all this factor of production we can say. Now we must clarify through the characteristics. In this first one, this factor is the decision maker of the activity. All the decision is taken by the entrepreneur, that is activities related to the production, which is maybe beneficial, which is not appropriate for the, or maybe incur loss. So these are not, so indirectly the entrepreneur manages this all factor of the production we can see. The second point, this factor is known as the risk taking factor, because we can say it as a risk taking factor because all the decision are over here is taken by the entrepreneur. It's not all the time that entrepreneur may receive the profit itself, maybe incur loss for it. So the decision also to be taken very properly. So here we can say as a risk taking factor. Then it possesses the quality of coordination between all the other factors is important. The coordination is must, then only it can be very easy to convert the raw material or resources into the final product we can say. Then only the production activity can be done very smoothly. So coordination between all the factors is must. And the last, the remuneration of this factor is called the profit. Now entrepreneur is receiving the profit in return after selling out the product we can say. As the final product is ready, finished final product is ready, then after selling that particular product, the amount which the entrepreneur receives is the profit. But it is not such that it all time it may be positive, it is profit only. It must, sometimes it may incur loss, that it must be negative also. So, and another thing you can also write that it must possess the leadership quality. Entrepreneur must have the leadership quality, then he or she can make the decision very properly and manage all the thing very efficiently. So these are the points to be taken into consideration. And remuneration, students, be kept in mind, it is there in all: land, labor, capital and entrepreneur. In land we are receiving the rent as a remuneration, labor are receiving the wages, capital receiving the interest, and in the entrepreneur is receiving the profit. So these are the four factors of the production that are quite important for the production activity and to convert it into the finished product. So another topic is related to the trade cycle that we are going to continue in our part 4.